My name is Skye and I will be presenting the insanity defense. All throughout the United States, violent crimes are committed for various different reasons. With those crimes, those criminals actually use various different defense methods to try to avoid conviction. So what is the insanity defense? The insanity defense is a strategy used by the defense to try to excuse the actions done by the criminal. This is where they actually admit to committing the crimes, but have a reason why. Some of the most sensational crimes in the United States actually involve the insanity plea. There are 4 different types of pleas. There is the McNaughton insanity defense, there is the irresistible impulse, the substantial capacity, and the Durham defenses. The McNaughton defense, also called the right or wrong test, is when the defendant is mentally ill at the time of the crime, and also they do not understand the nature or quality of the crime that they committed. This is actually the most common used in the United States. The irresistible impulse defense is actually the most rare. This is the defense that is used when the defendant cannot control their actions. So they are mentally ill. They do more than likely know the difference between right or wrong. They just couldn't help themselves. The next defense that we have is the substantial capacity. This defense was actually the most common defense that we had. It was widely accepted in more than half of the state level and federal courts in the United States. With this defense, the person had to be mentally ill at the time of committing the crime, as well as they lacked a substantial capacity to appreciate the law. This means that they were mentally ill and they knew the law, they just didn't respect the law, or the law did not apply to them. The Durham defense is only used in the state of New Hampshire. It is the least common defense for that reason. It relies on proximate causation, meaning that with this defense, the person is mentally ill or mentally incapacitated for some reason, and that is what caused the crime. So a person was mentally ill, they ended up robbing a store because they were having grandiose visions. This is the defense that would apply because those visions and that mental illness is what caused the crime to occur. So the most famous cases would be that of John Hinckley in 1982. John Hinckley was a person who stalked and harassed the actress Jodie Foster. He became infatuated with her and actually did suffer from grandiose visions and other mental illnesses, including borderline personality disorder and massive depression, as well as narcissistic personality disorder. When he was stalking Jodie Foster, they actually had to do a restraining order against him to protect her. In a last-ditch effort to get her attention and to impress her, he tried to recreate the famous Taxi driver scene in which he was playing the part of Robert De Niro and tried to actually assassinate the president. He attempted to assassinate President Ronald Reagan. The bullet actually ricocheted, did not hit him, only grazed him slightly, but on this he was charged with attempted murder and was actually acquitted on reason of insanity. Another famous case would be that of the Son of Sam. So David Berkowitz, also known as the Son of Sam, terrorized New York City in the summer of 1976. He murdered countless people, and his defense was his neighbor's dog was possessed by a demon, and the dog was telling him that he needed to go kill people. Of course, the jury saw right through this defense. Psychologists and everyone were able to determine that he was not actually insane under the legal standards, and he was actually charged with murder. Another famous case of this would be that of Jeffrey Dahmer, who killed multiple people, up to 17 young men, over the span of 1978 through 1991. He also tried an insanity defense plea, but was convicted of murder as well. The sources that I used were the Lumen Learning textbook, as well as CornellLaw.com and the Westword article describing serial killers. These would be my notes and my audience.